that's very interesting. It was not a sprint; it was more like a marathon, and I think it's a really interesting. I have lots of questions, but I just want to pass the microphone to other people who have questions as well. Any you have online? So I can start with a question, something that comes across and not only your presentation, but some other presentations is the incentive mechanism, what this should be. In your case, although overall I think it's super interesting what ArchiDAO is proposing, I think there are kind of, with all due respect, there's kind of some blind spots. For example, you jump into Beam when there is a lot of things happening before Beam actually is put in place. And as your background is also building design, building architecture. So some of the most valuable work done in building design is the concept development, right?
Yeah.
And you are proposing something that is feasible as a platform to manage design concept development before we actually deploy BIM.
Yep.
So and this is almost like the jackpot for design, because that's when architects charge their highest fee. So what do you think about that, and what do you plan to do about it?
Okay, that's a very interesting question, I think. And this is maybe the split between what I do as a researcher and what I've done as a researcher, proposing conceptual development through blockchain, and what I see now as the best possible pathway for implementing blockchain in AEC. And unfortunately, at the moment, I don't think we should start with concept design as the idea, or rather it will be a lower hanging fruit if we go with securing BIM first as the first, let's say, accomplishment or market, let's say, for smart contracts. And partially this is because the business models for architects are entangled also with a certain idea about the profession, right? So first of all, a lot of architects see themselves as kind of sole creators, and there's also able, right? You work as an architect and you work in big offices. There is a very clear idea of the identity of the architect as the sole creator of a concept, right? Or this gets attributed to a particular office, which might also has a particular idea. It is very difficult to go from that to what actually happens, and this is funny actually for most architects, which is the concept is not created by one person, right? It is a very dynamic thing that then gets an identity imposed onto it, I would think. The other problem that lies with this is that I would say it is, creating a concept and developing initial ideas in a collective, as we would in a blockchain. You would potentially need a certain level of, let's say, trust to put things out there, or a kind of more working relationship between what we have presented as research prototype. However, I think there is the opportunity to explore blockchain as a concept development, not between humans, but between humans and AI. So one of the things that is a clear, let's say, pathway forward is employing blockchain to kind of create a creative dialogue between humans and AI models.
Yes, I completely agree with that. It really looks like I'm the invisible man now, so I'll just go stand on the front, because every time I talk, it shows the empty, and it looks like I'm invisible. So I'll give this to Niall.
And just to complete the discussion on why in ArchiDAO we're trying not to go with that, but actually try to go with a simple BIM kind of process, is that we have held a lot of discussion with lots of companies the past year, a year and a half, and people who approach us with this, and we want to go with, you know, easier problems to solve. And part of this might be, for example, you know, tokenizing a model and timestamping it. So you provide some kind of value to people going in, because the other problem is that a lot of times you start discussing all of these ideas on blockchain and common pool resources, and you might get you know, reactions from people going, "Oh, that's a lovely idea, right? You can try it on your own." Whereas actually you want people to kind of engage and take this on and adopt it, right? So you need an easy way in, if you will.
Yeah, but what I'm thinking is, like, for example, in the last, not in the last year, you know, the AC magazine from Martin. Yeah. So in the last year, I think 4 of the covers of his magazine, which is the one that goes to most people in the UK dealing with AC technology, they were AI-generated architectural concepts using Midjourney, using DALL-E 2, whatever. And pretty much all my students this year at the Bartlett, they all propose final year thesis for their Masters in Architecture on text-to-image technology, you know, for architectural concept development. And then you are proposing a DAO for architecture, and you're jumping straight into BIM when you have a huge opportunity, which is something along the lines of reconceptualizing CryptoKittens for architectural concept development, for collective emergent architectural concept development. So, like I said, you have like this text to image, or you know, let's say, who can come up with the most interesting AI imagery for concept development preceding BIM. So in my other conference, in the Design Competition Input-Output Conference next month, like Marta from Norman Foster's office, together with senior research people at NVIDIA, is going to be discussing text-to-BIM implementation. So why are you not tapping into this? Because CryptoKittens did something very similar, right? You breed the kittens and you buy them because they look good. Yeah, and this was a kind of a very well-tested platform. I don't know what happened to CryptoKittens, and people still own them, but it for a period of time it really spiked, and I don't know what is happening now. But imagine that a CryptoKitten is actually an architectural concept happening in the ArchiDAO.
That is the concept of saying we could create a decentralized Spotify. So we thought about that, but we didn't go into detail in ArchiDAO at the moment. It seems that we got more traction from, let's say, companies that are interested in securing their BIM files. So yeah, I don't have a it might be an opportunity we're missing, right? So I'll go back to the drawing table, if you will, with this kind of idea.
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is an opportunity. I think you should be investigating that, because BIM, as you know, BIM is about constraining and cementing design, right?
Yeah.
It is from the moment you start to use BIM, things start to get stiff.
Yeah.
Because you need to start to think about construction and rationalizing the design. But before that, which is the premium architectural kind of service, things are very, very fluid. And I think this should be foundational for ArchiDAO, I think, because if you nail the concept development that goes together with the business proposition for the project, then the BIM is just a consequence of that.
True.
Yeah.
I think the difficulty there would be on how to handle the collective process, but yeah, we would be in a good place to take it on. So yeah, more to discuss later on.
Yes. Okay.
Any other questions?
Hi to you, this is Jens.
Hi, Jens.
Great to see your progress. Maybe I missed why you. I'm still thinking about the token engineering you proposed for OrchidDAO. Why is it 2 tokens? One that you get rewarded for work and one that you can hold to vote? Because don't you want incentive alignment between those who work and those who vote? And now it's completely uncoupled.
Let me get back to that slide. Yes. So currently you have the opportunity, or I say currently, right? We haven't built the second tokens yet, right? So these are still initial thinking and sensitive to all of the to everybody's feedback. So yeah, I think this is a really good question. You get as an OrchidDAO member, part of the incentive is that you get to be part of the community and also to have a track record with whatever you're doing. They're not completely decoupled in the sense that the staking token gives you governance for a particular project, or that is at least our current thinking at the moment. One of the things I didn't showcase too much is that when you get paid, part of the funds also go to the OrchidDAO treasury. So from every project, you don't only pay the workers, but you also pay a 10 or 15% to OrchidDAO. So being a member of the DAO long term, with the idea that the treasury is going to increase, allows you to have a say on that treasury. So they're not completely decoupled. We haven't yet had a large amount of funds to see what would happen on, would we have more people applying for becoming members? Hopefully, yes, right? Because it gives you a say on what to do with that funding. Also, we were thinking that once the treasury kind of becomes much more healthy, we could actually do grants and say to people, for example, could you develop our next product and you get paid for it? So I know I presented it as that there is the option that project workers take on projects, and this is like their easy way in instead of just creating, getting to become OrchidDAO members and have more obligations. But OrchidDAO members also have a say on what happens to the treasury and also have a record of successful accomplishments with the DAO, and we could potentially see certain features get unlocked as long as you level up later on. So that's our current thinking.
Okay. I mean, it's reasonable. I just wondered if the governance tokens are not, there's no inflation, you might end up with a certain group of people who always votes and you don't really allow new people to go in. So I was wondering that maybe you need some issuance from people who work for the DAO and have some incentive alignment to then also. So basically you could enter the DAO through work in just buying in, right?
Yep, that is a good
option in a way. I mean, I see a risk that I can be mean now, and it's maybe the two of us, right, that start with the DAO, and then we do have the governance tokens, and we decide what happens with it. Yeah.
True. We want to. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, part of why I do the presentation is also to get valuable feedback, and I think that's the case, along with what Abel was saying. We want to avoid a situation where you get whales that have a lot of tokens or have a kind of majority vote, or few people kind of dictating what the DAO will do, or the idea that you get any kind of exploitation. So our current thinking is along the lines of trying to set some balance. But at least for the payment and staking tokens, we are much earlier in our thinking and implementation compared to the OrchidDAO, where we've already developed code essentially.
Thank you.
Thank you.